The fisherman who heard Mica Miller's cries there in the woods, he finally spoke out and he did an interview at the location, and we're going to talk about it in today's video. Hello Sofa Squad and welcome back to the sofa. Sofa's back here, Roscoe's back here, and my name is Paul, and I'm in front of the sofa. Now today what we're going to be doing, this is like a quick little update video. A lot of you have asked me and emailed me and DM me and all that and asked my opinion on this situation in the Mica Miller case. So what I wanted to do was to look at this video. This is a interview that the Fisherman did. Okay, so the Fisherman, if you don't know, well first of all, let's do a quick little overview here. So Mica Miller, she was married to J.P. Miller. He was an alleged pastor at the church. He's been ousted at this point. Mica Miller allegedly took her life at this state park, we're going to go over it in a minute, in North Carolina. She called 911 first, wanted them to know where her body was going to be found, all this stuff. So then comes forth a fisherman who's like, I heard somebody crying in the woods, and then I heard a gunshot. And you found some of her stuff in the bank, all that kind of stuff. Well, you know, the internet's done the internet thing, and they're like, oh, he, you know, some people are, oh, he was involved, or this, that, the other, and all this type of stuff. He does speak to that in this video. Well, what he did is he took a correspondent to the spot and was kind of like, hey, this is what happened, this is what I was doing. So what I want to do is just look at that interview, bits of it, and talk about it as we go. Now, like I said, you can watch this in its length. I've just pulled out a couple little bits from it. But this is Ashley Banfield, this is News Nation, and the correspondent's name is Rich McHugh. Now this article that's from, you'll see it on the screen here, it's by Liz Jasson. It was updated May 21st, 2024. So what we're going to do is let's just go ahead and get into the interview part of it. Now the fisherman did not want his identity to be put out. He's not going to do another interview after this. This was like a one and done, like I'm going to come out, I'm going to say my bit, and that's it. Now where this is at, it's at the Lumber River State Park in Robinson County, North Carolina. It's not that far from where I live. I mean, it's not, you know, right down the road, but it's not far either. So that's the context of it. Let's go ahead and jump in.
I heard a cry back when I came in, where I told you I started hearing the crying at. Then I heard a gunshot. That was probably about 2 minutes or so after I started hearing the cry. It might have been a little bit longer than that. And I heard a gunshot. It wasn't a loud gunshot. And then the crying just stopped. Right about here, that's when I heard the gunshot. The gunshot went off.
From which side? Over here on the left?
To the left. That's where I heard the gunshot.
In there?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I wanted to pause right there for a second. When I'm looking at this, and this gives such context to it, now he'll go in to talk about like, well, how did she possibly get there? Because you see how high the water is. Now, I'm sure there, as well as here, because it's not that far, we've had massive amounts of rain here recently. And the rivers and stuff that are down the road here, I mean, they're the fullest I've seen them in years, right? So keep that in mind when we're watching this video. Secondly, he's talking, and I'm just thinking to myself, whatever happened there, okay? We're in Mica's perspective right now. What a lonely, sad exit. Whether it's legitimately, as the police are saying, that she did this herself, or if we find out more information, right? That's very up in the air to me right now, and that's all I'll say about that, because nobody has been charged with it yet, right? And so far the cops are, I mean, it's still being investigated, but the cops are like, nope, she did this. But nonetheless, I'm looking at that and I'm like, my God, it's like you can almost hear her cries to those trees. It's very Southern Gothic looking there anyways, almost like something you would see in Flannery O'Connor stories or Tennessee Williams or whatever. And then to hear that this is what happened, and now from his perspective, the fisherman, I'm just thinking, this poor guy, you know, can you imagine knowing after the fact that that's what took place? Now, I've not done a kind of deep dive on who this guy is and all that type of stuff. I see fishermen out at obscenely early hours here all the time. So the fact that this happened, you know, I know it wasn't like an early hour or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? I don't think he's involved. That's what I'm trying to get at, okay? At all. I don't think he's involved in it. I think what he's saying is the way it went down. He heard it, it happened, and there was that. Let's keep going.
That's when the crying stopped. That looks totally different from when I came in here. Anyway.
Was it low water when you were here?
No, it was actually less water than what's in here now. So that's the area I went in through with my boat.
How do you get in there if you're not in a boat?
You can't get in there if you. What do you mean?
How was she in there?
There's a path that comes in there. That's what I told them.
Yeah.
There was a path that comes into here. So there's paths all in this river. And there was a path leading straight to where her belongings were laying at.
And then how did you come across her stuff, her belongings?
I just seen it laying up on the bank when I pulled up in here. Yes, sir. It was laying up on the bank.
Now, I wanted to pause right there again. This whole dynamic of like, this is what I too, and I mean, the family's like, this is staged, right? Like, something's not right. It's very weird to me, the location of this and the wading through the water and all that. I'm just like, I'm like, what? Like, it's such a bizarre place. And then also when you put into the frame of mind of where and again, I'm still saying allegedly with all this, right? Until we have a confirmation 100% that this is closed out, all that. Allegedly, she called 911 and made that phone call talking about, I want my family to be able to find my body. Well, if you wanted that, how did we end up here? This is the part that blows my mind. And maybe, see, now I'm walking through it. Maybe it was like, well, I want to be somewhere away from everywhere, but that in case I don't do it right, I'm far away enough to where it's going to take people time, they can't save me. Or if she wasn't alone, but it was made to be like she was alone, well, then of course you want to be away from everybody. You see where I'm going with that? So there's that. Let's keep going.
I don't know why I grabbed it. I just grabbed it. Didn't ever look at it or nothing. I got out and I looked around because there was a clearing on the left and the right, and I looked around because I felt like something was wrong, but I never seen nothing. I took the stuff, put it in my boat, went back to the landing. Her driver's license, her bank card, she had her keys, $500, a little over $500. Every bit of that money got back.
It was not a wallet? It was a wallet?
It was what they call, I guess, ladies call them fanny packs.
What do you say to the people accusing you of being a part of this?
Quit trying to be investigators. I did not do this.
So here's the thing. You heard all the objects. It's a $500, this, that, and the other, yada, yada, yada. Think of the chain of events. You hear some crying, you hear a gunshot, you kind of go back there, you find stuff on the bank, and yes, it is odd. It's like, well, again, so much of it is odd, right? Your sixth sense is going to go off. If you hear somebody crying and then a gunshot and it goes silent, that's not the norm in many places, okay? Like, at all, right? And especially for this place, right? I mean, that's like what happened. And then to find these items and whatnot, even more so. Yes, it's odd that she had $500. I'm like, why did she have $500 with her? It's very odd. I mean, like, I can completely see why the family feels a certain way about this.
There's no way in the world I would harm anybody like that. Even my worst enemy, I would not do nothing like that. I was just here fishing. I can understand people, thinking stuff. It did look odd, but people's going to think stuff. I'm even been trying to figure out what happened.
I mean, and again, to reiterate with him, it's going to be weird. People are going to think a certain thing. I mean, he said he gets it, and I get that too. There's so many times, and in a case like this, where there's already all this very bizarre set of circumstances going on, right? And then even more so with this, when you start looking at the location, the 911 phone call, the objects left behind, the fact of this, where it was at, the family coming out, JP's behavior, we've been following that. I mean, it's bizarre. All of it. It's very fishy. It doesn't sound legit. However, I don't think this guy was doing anything other than fishing and like stumbling upon the scene. Now, if I end up being wrong, well, then I'll own it. You know what I'm saying? But for me, watching this, seeing the location, my heart, whatever happened to her out there, my heart aches. What a scary, lonely place to leave this earth at, especially the way that she left it. And again, whichever way that might have been, whether it was at her own hands or the hands of others, right? I don't know. But it's so terrible. So that's my opinion. So again, the biggest question I got was like, do I think the fisherman has something? No, I do not. Who am I though, right? I'm just somebody with a sofa. I'm not a cop. I'm not an investigator. I'm not any of this stuff, okay? I'm just a guy with a sofa and some opinions. So I mean, just watching this, I was like, oh no, this is just I see guys like him all day long. They're just out there fishing. right? He might be retired. He might not be. I don't know. But they're just out there fishing. These guys are out in the lake down here very early, very late at night. That's what they do. So then they're doing that. He heard this. I can assure you, like if it was a state park down the road from here, if I heard a gunshot prefaced by somebody crying, absolutely that would be like, what just happened? Absolutely abnormal. So there's that. Let me know what your opinion is of it. What do you think of the location? I can't get past watching this and being like, okay, this is where she was at. This raises more questions for me. So let me know what you think. I do appreciate you watching. Sorry this is a shorter video, but I just wanted to address this aspect. I got a lot of emails about it specifically. Roscoe does thank you for watching as well. He wants to know your opinion as well. He wants you to also drop sofas in the comment section, so he has a place to rest his little chihuahua bones while we sit and talk about this case and others. And until we do all that, we'll see y'all soon. I just wanted to say thank you again for watching the whole video, and also thank you for being part of the Sofa Squad. Special thanks to all the Patreon members, channel members from both of my channels, everybody who likes, shares, subscribes, comments in the comment sections. It helps the channel out so much. Now don't forget, I do have that other channel, the podcast channel. That's where we go live, we hang out, we talk. We have kind of sort of a schedule, but just be sure and check it out. I'll put it up here on the screen. Also, if you're looking for merch, be sure to check out my Teespring store. I'll put that up here. And then, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to follow me and Roscoe on the Instagram, go on, check it out. It's right here on the screen again. But once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being part of the Sofa Squad, and I'll see you in the next video.